Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Sultanate. We are playing Final Fantasy XIV. Last episode we did... Well, we started the patches of Stormblood. Finally! Another thing that I noticed, which is a little stupid of me. After the dungeon, when I was a scholar, I just continued the episode as a scholar, even though I was supposed to swap back to Dark Knight. Whatever. I'm getting used to everything again, because it's been a hot minute since I've done, like, just... these normal things. Yes. I don't know how we solved anything exactly, but we've given Ferdota something to think about at least. Aye, and I've found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Lynn, but the visions only come to me every now and then. And the way Ferdota keeps wincing though, I get a feeling she's having them almost all the time. That's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I wonder. Could there be some fundamental difference between one who is born with the echo and one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring that research facility ever since the liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Dean's there overseeing the investigation. Let's go and pay him a visit, shall we? Fly over the walls. Fly like a beautiful butterfly. Hello. General Dean is inside, eh? Will you be joining him? Yeah. Yes! Yes! The Resonatorium, huh? What news? Spoke with Ferdota, I take it? Yes, as expected, she didn't say very much, but it wasn't a total waste of time. Ehrenfeld noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might be having visions almost constantly, which is not how the Echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different from her? Or for her? We've been hard-pressed just to organize their research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the science expert assistance if you have time to lend a hand. Flame investigator. So many bodies, every one of them a victim of these experiments. Few show any signs of external injury. From what we've been able to determine, they perished from forcible ether extraction. Such a miserable way to die. The device in which Kral was held seems even more ominous now you know its purpose. The surrounding pods are marked Supply Subject, while this one bears the label Master Subject. The Ironworks received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices, and I've been recording everything of interest. Did you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the ether of the occupants, save that one right there. Unlike the others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. I know little and less of science, so any light you can shed on this facility's operation would be much appreciated. Lynn, shall we start with you? Taken in combination with the testimonies of Kral and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailed infusing a single candidate with ether siphoned from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Kral, the pattern of her etheric activity would provide a model upon which they would artificially engineer the candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to recreate Kral's echo? I believe so. Which would explain our prisoner's present state. Kral is possessed of an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems portable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Ferdota. Soldiers who guard Ferdota, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. And there's a sentry at her door, night and day. She can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past. But you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain, imagine what it'd do to you. It'd never be the same again. Indeed. As you may recall, Isaiah was completely transformed by a single glimpse of Wraith Velga's past. Fidola has been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed. Doesn't be like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. The result of these experiments have been relayed back to God Malta. It will be not to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of these god's-forsaken procedures. And Fidola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish. Not yet. Right. Keep faith, lass. If you're to convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but none of it's feigned. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. I go looking for answers about the Echo and end up getting schooled by Raban. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Aldin is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience. I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority and how much I still have to learn. I know what he'll do when everything here is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. To go into the trouble of winning it back, might you not want to stay? It's a country which countless refugees now face, to continue the life they built in Ul'dah or start again in the land of their birth. Lynn, a moment. I'm newly returned from Ul'dah with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. An audience with the Sultana. Depending on the nature of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those, Alf, you know, but not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of him, Lynn. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasure to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Ironvault? I'm at your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down into the ruins and start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send none about my regards, Lynn. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. Bartholomew! Bartholomew Kuma, ayo? The One Piece is real? Anyway. Ul'dah! Run, my lady, run, run, my lady. You're a butterfly, sugar, baby. My lady, it was an honor to face you in a tournament. Since that day, I have spent my every spare moment in the practice yards, striving to attain some fraction of your skill with the blade. Ah, forgive me. We are here for your audience with the Sultana. Please proceed. Skill with the blade, he says when I was using a bow. That boy ain't right. Voiced or not?
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy. The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future. All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Ul'dah home, It will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure? Wonderful.
Subarashi.
Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
All right. Outside the quicksands. Whoopsie. Hello. Perchance you remember Lilira, the merchant's daughter? This is the persona I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinary, Papa Shan would accompany me, but for this particular outing I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you have met people from all walks of life, in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now, let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nod. What is this? Oh, that's the Reaper thing. Yes. Gate of Nod. Nod. Falls balls, brother. Chair. Curious. Don't ask me why that suddenly happened. Look upon this procession of tattered tents, these refugee camps in squalor at the mercy of the elements, and Thanaland's predators both. The city's walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is. And unless blessed by the hand of Nal himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Your hands have been tied. Yes, my authority is limited, and that's an obstacle I must work to overcome. Shall you press on? I would follow the roads to the unholy air. Bum, bum, bum. I love Thanaland so much. Wait, what? Where'd Lynn go? Well, look at this beautiful camera angle, you guys. Where did Lynn go? Is she just gone, or is my... Oh, I'm that one, okay. I see. Lynn no longer exists. Lynn became Burb. I'm too zoomed in though. There we go. It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interest in Eastern Thanaland when an untimely rockslide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Raban once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by monetarists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you and yours. Shudder to think how many goodly souls paid this price for my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the monitor's damnable games. Forgive me my outbursts. You are one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. To the Colosseum. As I do another stretch, because stretching feels good. Big stretch. Massive stretch. Clungy. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years I simply signed where I was told to sign, and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it was during an official visit to this Colosseum that I first met Raban. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinker though I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raban to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raban had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theatre. But as you know, Raban is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on a blood sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom but a seat on the syndicate. And then I had my blade. Boop, boop. We're going to do something which will make some noise. There we go.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Sham. Raban!
Your Grace, I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah, and so, as tradition dictates, Rauben Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last. Long live the Sultana, and long live Ul'dah!
Freaking marriage music plays. Anyway. Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is as that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raban, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. Money, please. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan's Sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. To the Arzaneth Ossuary. I actually pronounced it properly. Wow. So look at that. When a calamity is threatened, Raban led the alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cartano, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louis would have the power to rise to 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting the shrine during each of my little excursions. Here, I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as a champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be a Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path, Lyn. With Ala Mhigo now free from Imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin the long trek home. And as you well know, our artisan school shall be waiting to accept any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefit. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive, and this time the Ul'dah treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. Want to seek the advice of one who employs refugees? A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the syndicate, and he is one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Manorville? Yes. Yes, I am. I need not explain his eccentric nature. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see that word sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad to receive us. Godbert, he is a god. And that is not an understatement. I would like to see him fight. Need to go to the airship landing. Yes. Yes. I've ridden aboard a public airship before, but this should be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. Blithesome businessman. No. Well, the thing is, I'm right here, so I may as well just fucking go there. With this, there we go. To the Gold Saucer. Ronaldinho Saucer! Haha! Such a good freaking thing. If you're wondering what this is to unlock Chocobo Racing, which I have never done and I'm not particularly interested in doing, so I'm just gonna leave that right there. I'd heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamt it would be so bright and inviting. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Galbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly to the launch and ignore these gaudy temptations. I believe this is where we are to meet, Lord Manville. Shall we sit while we await his coming? He came. Godbert's coming sounds terrifying. In more ways than one. My apologies, Your Grace. I have kept you waiting. No apologies necessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. When the intrepid Lindodare and the Sultana herself come calling, there is no more important engagement. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Tanlan. You are aware, I am sure, that many of Ala Mhigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland, and you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might best be distributed? The unusual circumstance of our meeting and your Grace's choice of companion would suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is stop. Taxing Uldar's wealth to save Alamegan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You oppose my proposition? Most empathetically, I agree with your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment, but what profit is there for Uldar in this arrangement? Profit? After all you have done for Gerbania's displacement, I thought you the very last person to seek the benefit from their misfortune. Forgive me, your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born out of pity. Your intent is not to... your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. Then we must consider Uldan's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizen of Alamigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your Grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill? Indeed. Then any support I pledge to refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people of Ulda. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamegans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder, Lord Mandeville. I thank you for your candor. Camprito! Camprito! Right. Get it. Prophet. Thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Lynn, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of the East Aldernaut Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Kogani and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit their shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the ffXIV and Ulda. A fair journey to you, Lynn, and a swift one if you please. Time to go to Hancock. Yes, I call him Hancock. Deal with it. The dude is a little wonky. It's a little special. Especially a boy. Greetings, honored madam. Will you be entering the Ruby Bazaar offices? Yep. Yes! Then, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? I beg your pardon. Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ulda. My dear Lynn, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure. And I am flattered that you came to me. Truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice, when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his garderobe with gold. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Science former headquarters in Townland. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, then, and may your dealings prove fruitful. See if Nanamo is gonna like that suggestion. He's probably gonna be like, oh, you did what? Lolorito? Not him. Oh god, not him. Worried Weaver. Enter the Viper, I guess. What the fuck is that? Just keep forgetting all the quests. It's ridiculous here. Welcome back, Lynn. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? with Lolorito, and you agreed to this. I'm well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I hope to keep the monetarist at arm's length, and him in the particular. Why am I keeping hiccups? Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Very well, I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. So much coming today. Kind of wild. I mean, this game is full of cum. Anyway. Hello? Yes. So this is where the Science first congregated. I've heard many tales, but never had occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near, and I would gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves. Alright, let's fucking go. Man, I'm really enjoying this glamour.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Sit and perish. Runt. No. A little jump on the chair.
You have made your point. 'Tis indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I'm glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Ul'dah and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Ul'dah. Ha! I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
The Saltery!
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Sultanate and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenard Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
There will be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lord Rito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, Lynn. Could not have done it without you. Of course, our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Lynn, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hext on your return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Ul'dah both. Securing the Sultanate. Batten down the hatches. Secure the Sultanate. Hello. Lynn, you're back. What did Nanamo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So, Raban says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure he wants to. That is something we don't know. But I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Sultanate does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convince her to seek Lord Rito's help is another question. After all that happened, all that has happened, he is the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, at least, assuming the interim government elects to accept Uldah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like to introduce in a bargain. Alamigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investments. We have a fortune at our disposal, after all, and allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lord Rito too much control. Honestly, Alphinoids like Kagane never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though. We need to discuss this proposal with the Sultanate's residents. Whiskar, how do you fancy explaining Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything. Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Lynn? I might need you to fill in the details. Then I shall come as well. Should Wat wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful. Gucci. Let's go to Porta Pretoria, because it's closer by. I'll just go to a little closer there. Don't ask me why. Don't ask, like, me just saying something random, no fucking sense, don't ask why. Never, because it's pointless. My brain doesn't... Yeah, nah, I just say random shit from time to time. Which can lead to interesting situations. Let's say it like that. My name is what? My name is what? My name is... What manner of mischief brings you young'uns toward what this time, eh? They want to rebuild the Sultanate, Grandad. Lynn, tell me about the deal. Well, bugger me, we've never had a coin or the hands to put the place back to how it was. It sounds like that's about to change. There's just one small wrinkle in your plan. Doesn't account for all the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. The king used to send soldiers to call the buggers, but the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Granta, we'll take care of all that. Commander Hex has been talking about starting up regular patrols, and I'm sure she'd assign me to the dock if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Whisker. My lad, truly I would. So, does this mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, but mostly to kill Imperials. You've some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Lynn? You think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them? Sure. Let's not waste any time then. I'll see you by the lock. Whilst you're busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the Saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. Right. Whisker. Right then, I've got a spyglass here you can use to take a closer look at these pests. Once we've got our measure, you can tell me what to do, and we'll see how well I get on. Search your surroundings for yabbies. So we need to look for a yabby. Observe the yabby to determine its vulnerabilities. Look at this boy. It's a magnificent specimen. The weakness is his jaw. Think it's gonna go into another cutscene, maybe? Yep. The yabby's entire body is protected by a hard carapace, but the underside of the head looks soft and vulnerable. Ah, looks like we found a yabby. They say hitting their shells like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? Say it as hard as you can. No. Aim for the soft underside of the head. Vulnerable under the head, are they? Right then. Wish me luck. This is a cute little questline. I like it. I was wondering when this was gonna happen, because I do remember this. Thanks then, I just did as you told me and the wavekin went down like a sack of potatoes. Let's find something else. I think I can handle the yabbies now, so we should try something different. What else is out there? Phobads. Ah, hello. I know your weakness. The eyes. Grant us ours. Cause. Some say cosm. The Phobad's hands are large and powerful, but destroying its crystallized core should render the salt golem inanimate. You sense power pulsating from behind its brow. Oh, Phobad. How do I defeat one of those? Destroy the core? Just hit it really, really hard. It's hard you can. Destroy the core within its brow. Decided to, is it? I'll try to stab right between the eyes then. Oh, hey. Ugh, it's not easy fighting with the Liberator of Alamega watching your every move. But I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Lynn. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Anyway, we should head back to the Saltery before Grandad starts to worry. I've been snipped into pieces and fed to a Yabby's hatchling. Off we go. And our beautiful eagle. I see you've returned in one piece. Dealt with those beasties then, did you? I fought them myself. After a bit of instruction from Lynn here, like... Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. Fine young man we've become, Whisker. Fine young man indeed. Too often of late I hear tales of folk over in the city, drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, heads stuck firmly in the past. We need to set our sights to the future, on things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. True and real. It seems Whisker has a saltery security well on hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. With a little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Aldine. Apologies for the interruption, miss, but the General would speak with you at your earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I shall await here to hammer out the final details with Watt, and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Ul'dah. You should go. General Aldine asked that you wait for him by the main gate in the Alamegan Quarter. My apologies again, miss. Very well. Alright. What hath ye to say, General Aldine? I'm just gonna teleport. Because I'm fucking lazy. Simple, right? Simple math. Quick math. Destination. Destination. A nice evening indeed.
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal. Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
I mean, execution is not the answer, though. Execution, I feel, is only really applicable to people who are mentally just beyond.
You would spare these
reason.
animals? Yours is a more merciful brand of justice than mine. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me.
I like this freaking kimono or yukata, I don't know. The body piece that I'm wearing. I like it a lot. It's definitely worth getting.
I bear a share of the blame for Ilberd's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Ul'dah and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father,
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
Well, you know, I may be, you know, helping Nanamo. It took longer than I intended, or at least I know. At least you know where I stand. That's settled. Harrenvold, what news? We may have a problem, sir. A group of Nanta has arrived at the main gate, and I don't mean Vera, these are Kalyana, wanted summoned to Primal. They're insistent to be allowed to attend the council. Lisa's trying to reason with them, but she may need help. The invitation was extended to all the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kalyana would refuse it out of hand. We had best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Melania have dealt with these Kalyana before. I'd have you at my side. Fly, you fool. A blissful arrival, huh? Blissful is indeed a word. Then Raban, gods, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. We have not forgotten how you sinned against the Lady of Bliss, but we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Girabanya home. If this is truly your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone a summoning of primals. If you want to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will all be returned to you when the meeting is over. You will do as you ask, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish as to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's the closest we're going to get to a compromise, and we will have people standing guard. Oi, let them keep their swords. Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. No, another cutscene. What are the feeling we've welcomed a Viper into our midst? Thank you for that very necessary cutscene. Anyway, my friends, that's gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Downs where we were playing Final Fantasy XIV. And the next episode we are going to go and continue our main story stuff. I think this will be the end of this patch in theory, but since I'm doing all of it in one go, there's not really any big pauses, usually, except for very specific things. I'm just gonna leave it over here. I'm not gonna make it too long, because I seem to remember this taking a while, the next quest. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.